Hey everybody, hope you guys are enjoying all the content on this channel as of late. I have to speak a little bit quietly because it's 1 o'clock in the morning. I just got done watching Apollo 10 and a half, the new film by Richard Linklater. And funny story about this film, I actually have a connection with this film. Um, if you've seen any of my videos or certain reviews, you would know that I used to do auditions back in the day, and this was one of them. I actually stumbled upon this film. I saw the audition and stuff, and being the shy cat that I was back then, I did not go for it. And a part of me is wishes to participate just to just to have that experience, but I also like uh, not having to be a part of it because it gives me the luxury to be an audience member and to just watch it on my own terms, and to you know not to feel like I have to have my opinion filtered or anything. Because that being all said, um, I mean, visually it is quite interesting. The animation is very stylish, very expressive, and very unique. And I think that the overall atmosphere and the engagement is there to a point. However, I do feel that the movie is a little bit aimless, because it starts out with as this idea of of a kid, going into space, being the first person on the moon, sort of thing, and it then decides to put that um, as in the back, and instead put in the front this exploration of the time period within the 60s. Um, and for as much as it forces you to be, um, as much as it forces you to to watch that story versus the story that it initially pitches you, you eventually fall into the fun of it. And um, you you do, however, still have that lingering question throughout the entire runtime, which is, when are we going to get back to that story of this kid, going into space and being the first man on the moon? When are we going back to that? And we do go back to that, but at the same time, we don't. And um, I feel as though that the movie just doesn't really have much of a direction, as it is a like, at some points it's wanting to be showy, like because of the animation style, and at other points it's um, trying to have some kind of narrative, but it doesn't really know how to deliver a narrative. Like, I guess as a coming of age tale, it has some merits going for it, but at the same time, I don't see how this space story and this suburban lifestyle, I don't know how it connects to each other. I don't see the connections that well. So, um, so I think that visually it's interesting, and I think that there's also I tons of exposition, and I did not like that at all. I think that's very heavy-handed in its exposition. Like it's a rarity to find voiceover in the film, especially when you have talent like Zachary Levi and Jack Black in it. Like, I didn't find Jack Black in the movie at all. I don't know where he is, um, because the narration is just constant, and I feel that it deters from the story at some points, and I feel like it's a bit distracting. Um, for as visually expressive the movie is, I feel that we could have had less narration. Um, but it's a bit of a mixed bag for me. I think that visually it's interesting. I think that there is a level of engagement that I can find within that exploration of the time period. Um, but that also is the problem of the film, because I feel that it distracts you from really what the story could have been, and really what the story wanted to do initially. It's like the movie just just decided. It's like the movie changed its mind almost. It's like, here's a story, and then actually, you know what? Let's do this instead. That's kind of how I felt like the movie was doing. And um, I feel like I said for that, I feel like it is a bit aimless and it doesn't really have much of a much of a of a it's 1 in the morning. I apologize. It doesn't have much of a path to lie on. It's kind of like a in the moment type movie, and in some manner, it works as this nice nostalgia bath and as this nice throwback. But at other points, it feels like we are needing to get back to the main story at large, which is this space journey. And when we get back to it, we just don't have enough time to invest into to engage. So I don't know. I feel that the structure of the movie and just the overall layout, I feel like is a bit troubling. Um, but like I said, it has a fun atmosphere. The animation is quite stylish and quite interesting to look at. And it does have a sense of fun in general, but I do think that narratively it does become problematic, and the structure does become a bit troublesome. Um, so it is flawed, but there is definitely a sense of enjoyment to be had with it. I just don't think it's in the places that it should be. So, um, so yeah, I didn't hate it. I wouldn't say that I loved it either. It's just okay, I guess. Like, I don't know. I like it does become a bit redundant and repetitive with that with the excessive need to explain the plot. Um, but I had a decent time with it. It's not bad. It's not bad, but it could have been a lot better, and I feel like it could have been a lot more focused, in my opinion. So, because I feel like I feel like we just don't have much of a focus on this film. And I know Richard Linklater like it has this motif, this idea of living in the moment, but within living in the moment, there's also some kind of consistency and some type of um, idea that we can latch onto. With Apollo 10 and a half, the only real message that I can get out of it is this idea of not living an ordinary life, but even then, I just don't feel the full weight of that message come across. So it is a bit troubling when you start to pick at it, but tonally speaking, there is some fun to be had. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Apollo 10 and a half. So not great, but not the worst thing in the world either. So